Okay, good morning and welcome to the Morning Mindset here with Beto Paredes. And it's Monday morning. Monday morning, the third week of the new year. There's 52 weeks. We just broke into the 49, right? So listen, it's important. Don't let your New Year's resolutions fall. We spent the first 2 weeks talking about number one, how to keep your New Year's resolutions. And number two, all the basics that are important to business are important to really developing something of value for yourself in the business profession perspective. Now, I want to talk about this today for a very specific reason. If you're a network marketing distributor, especially, let's talk specifically about business, but let's coin that perspective for just a moment. Okay, so near the end of the year, everybody usually kind of fizzles a little bit going into the holiday season. And here's what happens. This is me trying to help you understand certain things because you'll see this ends up becoming a big surprise later on. Okay. So what ends up happening, okay, is everyone comes back from the holidays and they've had a time to think, they've had a break, and one of the first things on your mind is that they're going to jump right back into their business and we're going to get going because everyone's been getting ready for the new year, right? New Year's resolutions, my team and me, we're going to work close together, we're going to go, 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 right? Well, what happens a lot of times is over that break, man, they had a minute to think. And if they didn't have a super successful distributorship last year, especially if they joined anytime close to the end of the year, it might be in their minds that this isn't the opportunity for them. Maybe the decisions they made over the last few weeks was that they don't want to do network marketing, or that they might want to work with a different company. They've had a minute to kind of separate themselves from what's going on. That can be kind of tough. Because you get in and you've got this zeal and this potential and you're excited and you're focused. And suddenly you've got 3 or 4 of your team members you thought were really going to jump in and feel the exact same way and just be like, let's do it. And they're just kind of thinking way different, looking at things way different. And people do this. They tend to. But let me help you with something that's super critical. Now, I've learned this. We're going to go back to general business to a degree. Okay, I've been in business with partnerships and customers and clients and you name it, okay, for the last about 17 years. And gosh, that's hard. It's not hard to say that out loud, right? But in that time, I have learned a very valuable lesson. And this, you could say, is a lot of people's golden rules. But I can tell you right now, these are mine. These are absolutely my golden rules, and to me they're some of the most important things ever. Okay, so my 2 golden rules for success. Okay, because there's so much that happens in business culture, right? I used to hear the term corporate athlete. That's what we are. We're corporate athletes, and I'd have to say entrepreneurial athletes, I guess, with when you're talking prospectively about network marketers, let's say. But there's a lot to it. You've got to stay in the game. You got to keep your game face. You got to stay focused, right? Well, my 2 golden rules that fall a little bit outside of the things that I can make myself happen, my own personal efforts, is a generality about people in general. And I mean all people. I even mean to some degree your worst enemies or the people that you're in the most conflict with, per se, if there are those. Okay, my 2 golden rules are simple. Don't waste your time, but never burn your bridges. Okay, if you've heard this in network marketing, you sprint with the sprinters and the rest will catch up. I really do believe that. That's a reality. You give everyone the opportunity to sprint with you, and you give them all your love, and you give them all their potential, and you tell them you'll work with them on income-generating activities. Let's go, go, go. And if they sprint with you, then you stick right with them. Okay, it's their choice, not yours, whether they do that. As long as you're sprinting, you've got that open-armed, welcome, let's go attitude, everyone's welcome, right? So don't waste your time, but never burn your bridges. Let's talk about what I mean. If someone isn't going to match your momentum and they're part of your team, it's okay. Okay, love them, take care of them. If they have questions, answer them, and always follow up with them. Not as often, let's say, as your sprinters, but always follow up with everyone that is in your group, because you never know who's going to trigger when and how that may affect your business financially, really. Okay, so don't waste your time. In other words, don't spend a tremendous amount of time with people in your organization that are doing nothing, or partnerships that are going nowhere. Okay, this is not a perspective business wise where once you start a relationship that you're required to manage that relationship. Absolutely not. Okay, what you're required to do is to manage income generating activities. So if those people in your organization, or you're in your partnerships, or in your business, or in your client base are focused on you on income generating activities, you should be giving them that same focus back, right? But if that focus goes away, don't waste your time. Okay, follow up with people and we call it the unbroken chain of exposures. Okay, continue to talk with everyone that's in your business if they haven't stepped up and just completely stopped working with you, right? If they haven't actually just decided, right, to leave your organization and said, leave me alone. Always follow up. Keep that endless chain of exposures going. You distance it a little bit. If it's not someone who's generating income generating activities with you on a daily basis, weekly basis, whatever it might be, well, then get in touch with them in the time frames that make sense, right? Every few weeks. Sometimes it's every a couple of months if it's someone who's completely inactive. So don't ever break that. So that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is what you're doing on a daily basis. Close your circle up to the people that are really working the business, that really want to take action with you, because you'll notice once you really start to pick up momentum, there's only a certain amount of things you can do in a given day. Okay, and because that's just a simple fact, you want to isolate as much as you can your personal relationships on a daily basis in business with the people that are playing at your speed, the sprinters that are sprinting with you. Okay, so don't waste your time, but never burn your bridges. Let's talk more about that at this point. Even the people that you get into aggressive disagreements with, that may even cause problems for you politically, may cause problems for you in other ways. Okay? Don't hate anybody, and never follow through with negative action, even if they have taken it. Now, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't defend your position if for some reason your reputation is at stake amongst people that would know no different unless you had to say something to them about it. That's different. You can defend your position. There's no problem with that. But in reality, you don't attack people back. Okay, don't do that. Don't burn your bridges with anybody. And I'll tell you, because people are funny. And you never know what's going to happen in the future, and people can change. I can tell you right now, for example, in my software business, I had a company at one time, not naming any names, but at one time completely ruined my relationship with one of my other clients, someone I suggested they use as a financial instrument. And their customer service was poor. They were overstressed. They wouldn't answer the phone. They charged a large sum of money up front. It was never returned. I mean, I can tell you this was just a huge mess. And there was a lot of tension between me and them because I'd suggested them. Well, that relationship fell to pieces, completely came to pieces. And lo and behold, I was left holding the bag on a lot of things, and I was very upset, to be honest. Well, I still checked in with those guys after that relationship was over every couple of months. Well, after 9 to 10 months, they came back to me and asked me if they could please just have a meeting with me. And I was a bit reluctant, to be honest, but I went ahead and did it. And we got on the phone, well, actually on GoToMeeting, so I could see some things. And I had sent them very intensely written laundry lists of things that they were doing wrong and what needed to be fixed. At the beginning, it was an attempt to get them to fix them rapidly so that the relationship between everyone could be saved. But it just was not possible at that time. Well, 10 months later, they came back, and I was completely shocked and blown away to find out that they had taken everything that I said and they had created themselves a roadmap to get from where they were to where they are now. And they even went as far as firing the bank that was the main lender for their financial instrument and getting another bank and incorporating in another country. I mean, these guys went out of their way because they knew everything I had to say about what they should have done right was correct. And now I couldn't believe it. I had an hour and a half meeting with these guys, and I'm excited about what they're doing. I'm excited about their potential opportunity for my companies even. Excited as I could ever be because they went through the process and fixed all those things. If I would have burnt that bridge, and every time they reached out to me, I could have just been like, you guys are jokers, because that's kind of how I felt. If I would have burnt that bridge, that would have been one of the biggest mistakes in my life because I really feel that the solution they have now is really good. It's really going to work well for what needs to happen for so many different companies and people that I know personally in my own companies. So I'm excited about my relationship with them right now. 10 months ago, absolutely not. And if you'd have asked me if I was going to do future business with these guys, I'd have just held my tongue, tried to stick to my golden rules, just like I have here, that you don't burn your bridges, and just not answer the question. But it had been hard because I'd have probably wanted to be like, absolutely not. Okay? I can tell you one thing. That's just one lesson I've learned in this perspective. I've had clients come, and I've built things for them in the past. The relationship went poorly. They didn't pay their bills, something like that in general became problematic in the beginning, right? Well, they come back a year, 2 years later, they're well funded, they got everything taken care of, they pay ahead of time to kind of fix the relationship. Okay, don't waste your time, but don't burn your bridges. Okay, if something's not generating income or going to lead you to a cash register ring, okay, one of the smartest things I ever heard anybody tell me was this business professional, a good friend of mine actually. And he's a business consultant. He goes around and helps companies. And he says, listen, you can build friendships, you can create a strategy for customers, but you got to keep one thing in mind, that every single day that cash register has to ring. Okay, you're in business. And you need to focus your primary directives around that actual happening. Okay, your cash register needs to ring. Okay, make friends, build a business, have a great life, be proud of what you're doing, but focus on that one primary thing. I call that income generating activities. Okay, your cash register has to ring. So don't waste your time, but never burn your bridges. You never know when someone's going to come back and what they're going to bring. You just don't. Okay, so how do you do that, especially when it becomes difficult? Well, it's the second part to my golden rule. You love people unconditionally and focus on their potential. Period. End of story. Okay, everyone has the potential to do better, to be better, and to play a significant part in your life. Whether you're currently in distension with them, if you're currently going different directions than them, okay, unless you're planning to die tomorrow, you've got lots and lots of days left to where other people that have influence may come dovetailing back into your life from that perspective, and they may remember a few things if you really think this through. Okay, let me give you something that's hard to do, and I suggest you do it every time, even though it's hard. Okay, this will help you forever. If you have distension with a member in your team, let's get network marketing is a place where you have some of the most beautiful, amazing relationships, and sometimes even some of the worst because of the way the way the organizations develop, right? Well, if there's issues, even if someone, let's say, gets removed from the company, let's say it's that far, you personally never attack. Love them. Okay, if you talk to them, talk about their potential. Okay, XYZ, listen, things obviously aren't working out right now, but I see, just like in everybody else in this company, that you've got the potential to be great. Okay. Hopefully that's going to be something that settles into your mind, and you believe the same thing for yourself sometime in your life, and you go somewhere and you make something happen. Okay. You got to look at as many relationships as you can with a family perspective. Okay. If your brother or your son or your daughter, okay, is in a position where you see what they're doing may be destructive, you still love them unconditionally and you focus on their potential. That's how you help them reformat and refocus the things that they could be. Okay, and make that a golden rule. It doesn't matter what someone does or doesn't do. Okay, love them unconditionally and focus on their potential. Okay, if you have a conversation with them, even if they've attacked you and have made your life miserable, take a deep breath and focus on that individual's potential. Love them unconditionally. What it will do for you personally is beyond measure. Because guess who else is in your life that you're trying to love unconditionally, and you're trying to help become successful, and you're trying to help realize their potential? It's you. It's yourself. And you can't separate your actions towards another person from the actions towards yourself. Okay? One of the things that my wife told me that Anthony Robbins said, he's one of my favorite trainers, I'll listen to him here and there, was that whatever you focus on, you strengthen. Right? I'm not too sure if he said it exactly like that, but if you focus in any way on being insecure, you strengthen insecurity. Right? Well, if you focus on looking at the negative side of an individual, then you're focusing on negativity. So when you focus on yourself, it's going to be there. So if you focus on what other people are doing to make your life more difficult, when you focus on yourself, you're going to focus on what you're doing to make your life more difficult. So it's a self-centered but open-minded and grateful philosophy around how you deal with people. Okay? I made it sound selfish. It is to a degree, and that's okay because of its product, of what it produces. If you love people unconditionally and focus on their potential, no matter what they do, then you're going to love yourself unconditionally and focus on your potential, however hard it may become in your life to produce that. If you believe that somebody else that may leave your life may sometime in the future come back into your life at a higher point of potential, you're believing in that person in such a manner, at such a higher perspective, because you don't know. And it's that you don't know that it makes it so special and so powerful. Maybe this person, even no matter what it is that they may have done, is going to come back into my life and make a huge difference. We're going to do something big together. I can't tell you how many of my business partners I've been in a particular business with, and then suddenly it became over-challenged, and maybe there were some harsh words, some misunderstandings, whatever it might be. In totality, whatever it was, it swings right back around to the fact that now we're doing business again, and it's a different perspective. We talk about the times before, and it's like we're grateful to each other for making it through those times. How many of you have ever been there? Okay, love people unconditionally and focus on their potential. Don't ever change that. Even if they attack you, even if they attack your company, your organization, try to steal some of your members, whatever it is, does not matter. Take a deep breath and understand that as a human being, they're making mistakes just like everybody does. Love them unconditionally. And again, I will reemphasize that that does not mean if you need to defend yourself that you shouldn't. Okay? Because if there's information going out there politically about you or your organization and it's incorrect, it stays incorrect, and it looks as if it's true if you don't defend yourself in your position. And that can be tough. Okay, but that doesn't change the idea that no matter who's involved in anything negative, that you personally love those people unconditionally anyway, and hope that sometime in the future you'll be able to come back together and do something amazing. That's a difficult thing, but these are my 2 golden rules. Don't waste your time, but never burn your bridges. Love people unconditionally and focus on their potential. All right, Monday morning, let's make it a great week, okay? And believe me, one of the biggest reasons I say this, and I started out this way, is everybody goes out and tries a million things in the new year. A new workout, a new business. It might be that you were the best partner for them and the business that you started with them was the best fit for them. Sometimes people just got to run their course, right? They get offended over certain things. They have certain perspective on certain things. Somebody really sells them on a new idea and they're really into it. They really think there's potential. You know, sometimes people just need to run those things out. And in the new year, I tell you, they do that a lot. They try a bunch of new things, and then they usually settle back down to the ones that made most sense to them. And it might be what you've done. So be patient with people. Okay? Let's get out there. Let's make some money. Let's focus on income-generating activities. Monday of the 3rd week of the new year, 2016. Take at least 10 minutes, write down a few things that you learned today, see how you can incorporate that to keep your mindset and to keep focus going into the rest of your day. And thank you so much for joining me. I will be back here again tomorrow morning.